I'm 21, I'm a student, and I'm a sex worker. I think it's really flexible with my university and the hours that I keep. Also, I find that obviously the pay is a lot better than if I was working at McDonald's.
For this student in the social sciences, working as an escort and in striptease and cybersex is preferable to poor-paying jobs with binding timetables. As many as 1 in 20 British students work in the sex industry, according to a recent survey. For many, it's a good way to cope with the high costs they are faced with.
I come from a working class background, and with that regard, I don't get a lot of help from my family. So I found it hard to kind of live in London, especially with how high the rents are. As a student, my loan, I get £9,000 to live in London a year, and it's really not enough. The money that I make doing sex work's definitely been helpful.
The young woman, who calls herself Misha, can earn in a week enough to cover her monthly rent and living expenses. In the UK, students leaving university average €60,000 in debt.
I'd like to pay off the loan as soon as I could, so I'll probably continue even after I've stopped studying until I'm completely out of debt.
On another day, we come across Misha again among protesters who have come to support the Occupy movement launched a few weeks ago in several British universities. They oppose what they consider to be the economical drift in the British university system and demand the scrapping of prohibitive tuition fees. This is a central theme in the 2015 election campaign.
Whose education?
Benjamin is among those who occupy one of Britain's most prestigious institutions, the London School of Economics, or LSE. Among the occupiers' demands are free and open university, the end of precarious contracts for employees, and divestment from firms detrimental to the environment or involved in the war industry.
LSE has become the epitome of the neoliberal institution. So what that really means is that there's been radically transformative structural change to the UK higher education system. Fees have tripled, massive cuts have happened, universities are going to the capital markets to fund, they're building, and they're using that to build nice new buildings, students are becoming commodities that are used for profits at the university. We're trying to basically provide a crack within that system. So it's about students bringing politics back to the education and then bringing students back into the political world.
Recent years have not seen the divide between British youth and politicians decrease. From the city to the more popular areas of London, all those we meet share the feeling of having been neglected.
As young person, they don't really, other than help to buy houses, that's the only thing that I really follow about, and that's the only thing I really feel that they grab out to us young people, but they don't really, they seem to be at people who are a lot older than me, so I don't feel they really target the younger groups, I don't think so.
There's no one that's inspiring me, there's no one that's speaking for the artists out there or the young people, really. It's all old people fighting over money and crap like that, really. It doesn't interest me at all.
For me, it's less about whether I feel that they're catering to me and my generation, and more about I just don't really believe them, no matter what they say and who they're saying it for.
Higher on average than in the rest of Europe, the abstention rate of British youth does not equate to unanimity on the street.
I'm still unsure about which side I actually would want to vote for, but yeah, it's obviously important.
Why?
It sets policy for the next 4 years. It affects everyone's earnings, the economy for the UK, people's standard of living. So yeah, of course it's important. Yeah.
I think they're all kind of saying the same thing, but if you don't vote, then you can't moan when someone you don't want goes into government.
Yeah, I think it's more like it's about voting to keep people out rather than to put people in who you want to see in. That's definitely why I'm voting, not because I fully support the people I'm voting for. It's more that I fully distrust the people I'm voting against, really.
Bite the Ballot is on a mission to empower young voters. This non-profit organization campaigns to raise awareness in schools, universities, and youth centers to encourage youth to go to the polls. The under 25 represent more than 10% of the electorate and could swing the election's outcome.
Only a quarter of young people in the UK, eligible voters, actually voted in the 2010 general election. And then during these past 5 years, we've seen a lot of policies been aimed at the older generations, and lots of policies which were beneficial to young people have been moved to the side or scrapped. And so we encourage young people to vote in the hope that politicians will actually realise that young people's votes are worth winning, and that young people are active and interested in and demanding more, really.
Sarah.
We followed the team to a meeting they co-hosted in a downtown cafe. 40 youth were invited to debate over politics and what mattered to them. Debt, job insecurity, unemployment, housing, environment, and discrimination were all part of the discussions. If this generation feels disconnected from the political class, it might be tempted to choose none of the above, suggested one of the co-organizers. Protesting is also a way to exist.
I see one of the biggest focuses to get young people through the door is spoiling the ballot. Because to me, I feel like we live in a generation of trolls. Yeah? Everyone hates trolls, but everyone loves trolls. And not to say it should be a fun thing to spoil your ballot, but at least it's something, an incentive to at least take part, rather than ignore it. And it's just that form of defiance as well. Young people like to have the last word, and I think that's where spoiling the ballot comes in, because that's you just saying, no, I don't feel represented, and that's my own opinion. People are telling me to vote. I'm seeing advertisements to vote everywhere, but I don't actually feel represented, so I'm going to spoil it.
While many feel alienated from the current political class, those we met refute the apathy they are often accused of and share a thirst for change. This is what drives Jonathan. After multiple odd jobs post-graduation and not succeeding to find work suited to his degree, he started an online menswear retail brand with a vision that the clothes are sustainable and ethically made.
These are made of plastic bottles. These sweatshirts, you can take a plastic bottle and you can melt it down and you get little chips. They're just the kind of product that we want. It's a great product, and it's made in a more sustainable way. And I think this is the future of business, really.
Jonathan started Brothers We Stand from scratch. He lives at his parents' home, where he stores the collection sent directly by designers. The beginning was not easy, but with the help of a foundation and a lot of enthusiasm, his startup is growing momentum. He develops his ideas and works from a co-working space. As for politics, Jonathan will vote, he says, but at 25, what he believes above all is in his generation's creativity, through which another world may be possible.
Yeah,
It's definitely...
Brothers We Stand is a way that I can, in my own small way, have an impact on the world in a way that's not directly related to politics, but it's my way that I can use my skills. It's good to be involved with politics, having our say, but also we can do things apart from them. We don't have to wait for them to do the things that we want to happen. Each in our little way, we can make changes to places, and we just got to go for it, really, and we can make things happen.